I've taken off the rear back fender right here. We've taken the nut off the tire or the wheel. And I'm going to put on my compression check, but unfortunately I can't do that. I made a small mistake. I got this in only a couple days ago, so really not my fault. The spark plug on our Ruckus comes out with a 5/8 inch socket right here. Why it's not metric, I don't know. And then of course, remember that little tiny adapter that I was bitching about, talking about? Well, this is the adapter right here. That's the spark plug hole. And for some strange reason, the Ruckus spark plug is the exact same size as the little tiniest adapter that I thought was for RC cars. So I made a big mistake there. Now the reason is I cannot hook this up is I need a way to crank the engine. The only way to crank the engine is by using the Kickstarter. The only way I can use the Kickstarter is I'll have to rebuild the drive face and everything else, put it all back together, and then kick this over. And tell you what, I'm just not going to do that. So we're going to put the compression check tester away for now. We'll use it on the other end. Another good tool you can use is a leak down tester. A leak down tester is similar to this, but it has 2 gauges. They're about, I don't know, 75 or 80 bucks. And what you do is you have constant air going into the cylinder. And what that will tell you is if you have a leak somewhere in the system. Because remember that all these little engines, or big engines, 427s, Viper engines, Ruckus engines are basically an air pump. And an air pump, once it gets past that carburetor, going in, has got to be sealed. No leaking at all. And if it's sealed, it will idle like that for days. So we take the nut off the wheel. And let's see. Let's swing this one-handed. Okay, there's the nut and that's a 22 millimeter. It's what's called castle nut. It's a castle nut with a safety lock on it. Why it's called castle nut, I don't know. Okay, now I'm taking the wheel off, and they have a maximum diameter in here, which means if this gets too wide and doesn't have enough meat on the surface, it's got to be replaced. You also want to check your brake pads. These are worn past their half-life, so they have to be replaced. You can buy these brake pads from Bike Bandit, where I'm going to buy everything else. Also, this rear shock, do you see that? See this? That rear shock is gone. Tits up. Good night, Irene. That has to be replaced. And you can see it's been leaking for a long time. That's fork oil that's coming out of this shock, or shock oil. And then we look back here. This part is kind of weird. It bolts onto this part, and this part bolts onto this part. And you can see it's pretty dirty, but it's just got regular dirt on it. And I'll clean all that up. But that's something new. It's going to require a new shock. And those are not cheap. They're just a Mickey Mouse little item, but they really charge you up the ass for them. Sorry I feel like cussing today, but I'm an American and I don't give a damn. Rock on!